Getting stalked is never fun, but when the stalker could be an M. Night Shyamalan character, it's way more spicy. Trash to Piece Theater, episode 15, the Britney Spears Stalker Jawn. The mid-2000s were lit. Amerie was putting out bangers, Yin Yang Twins were whispering in Jawn's ears with hot-ass breath, and Kanye wasn't a Kardashian. The dopest spot in Philly to perform or hear poetry was Just Words at Darling's Palace. This one Thursday, I went to hear my homie feature. He killed it, and after the event, we all kicked it outside the venue till like 2 a.m. I recognized everybody out there except this one Jawn, who I assume drove down from Jersey with my homie. So we chillin'. Homie starts telling everybody how he and I met. The unrecognized Jawn was like, Vision? The Vision? So I'm looking around like, fuck you mean the Vision? I mean, I was known in some poetry circles, but nothing major. Clearly she was hype on somebody else. We all break out. I head down Broad Street and the car pulls up next to me. It's the Jawn. She starts yelling out the window all loud and drawn, saying she's my biggest fan. I was befuddled. So I asked her which one of my poems was her favorite. She said she doesn't have a favorite because she never heard me perform before. She drove off after me and started following me home. There was no way I was gonna let her know where I lived, so I drove circles through Fairmount Park for like an hour and eventually lost her. So I called homie when I got in the crib and asked him who Jawn was. He is like, that's Jane. She was my stalker. So I'm like, fuck you mean was? His trash ass said, she's your stalker now. He goes on to explain that Jawn was stalking some other boy the last time he was in Philly, and then she started stalking him once he performed. She was out there serial stalking people like it was freeze tag. He started laughing at me and said the only way to get rid of her was to pass her off onto someone else. He assured me she was harmless while also warning me that she was unstable. I'm like, unstable but harmless? He was like, you'll see. I slid through Just Words the following week to meet up with my homie D, and she was outside the venue. So I pulled off and called him to tell him why. He is like, shit, pass her off to me if she cute. So I was like, bet. Problem solved. I drove back, got out the car, and immediately introduced him to Jane. I was capping him up like he was the most talented, world-renowned poet on Beyonce's earth. She seemed enamored initially, but pivoted back to me. You performing tonight, Vision? I curved that shit with the strength of 1,000 fuckboys and put that focus back on him. And it worked, because he took her home that night. I stepped out the venue stalkerless like. I called D the next day and he said he and Jane got it in that night. He said the sex was bomb. So I warned him to slow down with Jawn because she might be a bit off. This nigga responded, quarter, dime, nickel, penny, crazy pussy as good as any. A few Sundays later, I was at IHOP on City Line with my girlfriend. The spot was quiet and empty prior to all the church folks arriving. Heathen happy hour, as I like to call it. Me and my girl were enjoying pancakes and shit, and then Jane walked in with 2 older dudes. So of course I'm trying to play that shit off like I don't see her. And at first she didn't see me, but then her head moved like someone whispered in her ear and she turned around and looked me in my face. As the server sat them, she just kept saying my name over and over again. Vision, Vision, Vision. So of course my girl like, who the fuck is that? My goofy ass was sitting there like, derpy derp derp derpy derp derp derp. A few seconds later I found my tongue and started to explain the situation. I told her that something was wrong with Jawn. She said, if I punch that bitch in her face, I bet she act right. North Philly girls are not to be played with. Jane and the old heads got seated like 10 tables away, and everything calmed down. And then it didn't. This chick started singing on the other side of the restaurant. Oh baby, baby, how was I supposed to know? So I'm looking at my girl like, yo, see, she crazy. She over there singing fucking Britney Spears in the middle of IHOP. So me and my girl cracking up. And Jane kept singing, oh baby, baby, I shouldn't have let you go. Everyone started looking at her. Jawn started doing like little choreo while walking towards us. My loneliness is killing me. I must confess, I still believe. I started to panic. My girl was ready to fight, and she got closer and closer and more off key. The closer she got, the more off key she got. Give me a sign. Everybody in there was like, what the fuck? And then she said it. Hit me, Vision, one more time. My girl stood up and tried to kill this chick. I'm grabbing my girl and she's mad at me for grabbing her. The 2 old heads grabbed Jane and she was still fucking singing. What's wild is some random joint in there with her boyfriend tried to jump in to fight Jane too. We had no idea who this woman was, but she was like, that bitch is disrespectful. I'm from North Philly. We don't play that shit. So clearly breakfast was over. We argued the entire way back to my apartment. She was pissed that I didn't tell her about Jane's antics. And she was right. I would have expected her to tell me if some stalking ass dude was acting the same. I called homie that night and told him what happened. I was confused because I definitely tagged D into her stalkerness. She was supposed to be his problem. Homie was like, yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe one of her other personalities really likes you. So I'm like, fuck you mean? He is like, wait, I ain't tell you? She has several personalities, bro. One or a few of them might really like you. He started cracking up. Rat bastard. I called D to let him know what I had just heard. He said it didn't matter to him as long as one of her personalities kept giving him the pussy. Fortunately, I've only seen her a few more times over the years. The first was on the train. I saw her and froze as she was standing there dressed like Nanny McPhee. But whatever personality she was that day didn't recognize me. I saw her again on the train a few weeks after looking like Mary Poppins. She got on as I was about to get off. This time she spoke to me, then started arguing with herself. I smooth got off the train, ran home, and locked the door. A couple weeks later, I got a late night call from a friend. She asked me if I knew this woman who was dressed like Bellatrix Lestrange pacing up and down her block chanting Vision over and over. I was like, yeah, I know her. I called D in the morning and told him what happened. He panicked. You ain't let her touch you, did you? I was like, nah. Did she get any of your hair? Nah. Good. Don't let her. She practices witchcraft, yo. She put a fucking spell on me. I see her now and again. Sometimes she recognizes me, others not so much. Either way, I'm always kind to her. She's always been harmless. Well, except today. Apparently the spell left his peen incapable of performance for a while. Guess crazy pussy ain't as good as any. Sucks to suck. Thank you so much for watching Trash to Piece Theater. Please like, comment, follow, and subscribe. Also, please consider donating to our Patreon to help the channel grow. Patreon patrons receive additional bonus episodes, so there's that too. This is all possible because of your support. Thank you.